Hello all, welcome to one more video about CSS. So today we are going to learn about CSS pseudo elements. Yeah. So we have heard so far in the class like what are pseudo classes. We have already learned, for example, an anchor tag has pseudo classes. So your anchor class, anchor element itself has got pseudo classes like hover, active, link, visited. So using which we can actually style the element in the different state. Yeah. So for example, when user is mouse over, when clicking on it, it gets a different. Yeah. So now, yeah. So similar to these classes, we have actually got elements. So these pseudo classes, if you remember, they get added to an existing element, and the different state we can actually style using these selectors. So putting the element and its pseudo class. The same way, we got pseudo elements. These are not classes, but they are actually elements. So in HTML, every element, yeah, every element that we write has got a pseudo element. So basically, these pseudo elements help us to style a specific part of the element. So for example, so let's say we can have the one of the few of the common used pseudo elements. Let me just tell you. Okay, I'll add a paragraph with 5 words. Now I can actually use a lot of pseudo elements just to see a list of pseudo elements and how they look like. Yeah. So we have got a list here. So you got after pseudo element, before pseudo element. There's a backdrop. There's one I think familiar first line, first letter. Placeholder is also a pseudo element. Yeah, we have got placeholder basically. So let's say you want to style a placeholder. So where do we get the placeholder? We will see in a moment now. So one difference with respect to pseudo class and pseudo element while writing the selector is, so we write two colons for pseudo elements. For pseudo class, there is only one colon. For pseudo elements, it has to be with two. So we have pseudo elements like after and before. So now let's see, we put something, yeah. So we would like to style this pseudo element. Now this selector is going to select a pseudo element which exists, yeah, before this P. So and this P also got an after pseudo element. We will see that also how to style in a moment. So let us style this element, yeah. So let's say content. Let's put star here. Okay, we are going to have a star. You see now. So this element, yeah, is displayed. The star is displayed after the paragraph. The same way I would like to add some element before it. So let's say I would put dollar. You see, there's a dollar which got placed. You see that in the paragraph we don't have a dollar or either a star, but using CSS with the pseudo element selector, I'm able to select both after and before pseudo element, and I'm giving you the content. So likewise, we can add some content, and for these elements we can style like the way, in whichever way we want. For example, it could be, I can apply color, yeah, I can apply font size. So just like normal element, so most of the properties we can actually apply to the pseudo elements. Yeah. So after and before are the pseudo elements. Okay, I see there's a semicolon mistake. Yeah. So now you get a element. Let me make it 30 pixel. You will see the star, which is a big star, which is coming, which is after pseudo. Okay. So these two are very commonly used pseudo element. So let us see one more pseudo element. So we said there is a placeholder. Now using a placeholder, we can provide some text within the input element. It could be enter your name. Yeah. So now how do I select that? So input, and then it has got a placeholder text. So what if I would like to style that particular text? Yeah, so let's say color, I would like to make it green, or I want to increase the font size of it, maybe by 16 pixel. Yeah, so likewise I can select the placeholder element and then I can style that. Now let me show you one one more common usage of the pseudo element. Let's say this input is part of you know a form field, okay, and we'll have a label attached to this input. And during form filling, you might have seen this pattern. You might have seen this pattern wherein we mark required fields as we denote that with a star. So let's say label. So this label we are going to have, okay, let's say username or name, okay. So here in this case name. So instead of putting a star directly here, or if you want to have a different style, adding an additional element like putting star and then the span. Yeah, so these pseudo elements basically help us to style a specific part of the element. Yeah, so this pseudo element does exist. Like let's say if I inspect it, maybe we'll add one pseudo element for this label. So let's style the pseudo element for the label which is part of this form field. I would like to style that particular elements after. So after I would like to put a content as a star. So yeah, we can add some content and I would like to color it as red. Why? Because it is a required field. I also want to just highlight to the user. Let's say I will say 18 pixel. Yeah. So that says, so this particular field is kind of required. We want to indicate, okay, these are the required fields. So for all the required fields, I don't have to put star, star, star everywhere. All I can do is I can put a, a selector, and with that selector I can apply this content star. Now let us inspect this element. Okay, let's inspect this element to see whether we have got pseudo element or what is the style which is applied. You see, for label we have got after pseudo element, and if you see, okay, this is a style that we have applied here. Yeah, so we don't have before pseudo element here. Let's say if I write for the same form field before, then we will see both after and before. Okay, so likewise we can select the pseudo elements, or these pseudo elements basically help us, yeah, in adding this or styling the part of the element, yeah, so differently, yeah, without the need for an additional HTML element. If you have an additional element, you need to put the tag, you also have to apply the class, you have to again select that element and then style it. But here you see, so all that is not there. So yeah, so this is basically what a pseudo element, and we have got different pseudo elements. So maybe we will see last one, I think, yeah, one more, which is like first letter. You might have seen this, especially if you're reading a lot of blog content, you will notice. So there's a paragraph here. What if I would like to, you know, make the first letter of that paragraph, yeah, a style which is called a drop cap, yeah. We'll say drop cap, meaning the first letter we will make it cap, a bit a bigger size. Let's say what if I say 45 pixel. Which one? The very first letter of that particular paragraph. Okay, let's see what is happening. Uh, yeah, that's a first letter. Okay, so seems like not working. Uh, just a second, let me just comment out these two to see. And then yeah, it's not applied. Let's inspect this element, which is a normal way. So somehow this is not reflecting, huh? P first letter. Let me write the CSS again. Not sure if it is reflected. Yeah, okay. first letter. I would like to say, no, here we don't have content, only for before and after we put content. Yeah, and then we'll say font size 45 pixel. Yeah, you see now it has applied. I think earlier it was there is an issue with just reloading of this. See now this particular capital letter is capital. More than capital, it is becoming a bigger. So you would have noticed this. So yeah, this particular pseudo element will help me style first letter of the the given element. Likewise, we also have got first line also. Let's say I have a paragraph which is multiple line and I would like to style only the first line bit different, or I would like to highlight the first line. So that case, this particular pseudo element will help. So yeah, so in overall, these elements basically help us to style a specific part of a given element. Yeah, these are like, the element which are not there. So you see they are not there, but you are able to style it. Yeah. So it, yeah, as you can see, I showed you by inspecting it. So this element doesn't, they are not visible by default. But as you style it, you can style those part. Yeah, using these special elements called pseudo elements.